Fleet Admiral Vorac watched the blue marble of Earth grow larger in the tactical display, his crimson eyes gleaming with anticipation. Behind him, the bridge of the dreadnought Eternal Conquest hummed with activity as his officers prepared for what would be the most decisive battle in Vorac history. "Admiral," his tactical officer reported, mandibles clicking with excitement. "All 9,900 ships are in position. The human homeworld lies defenseless before us." Vorac's four arms spread wide in a gesture of triumph. For 3 centuries, the Vorac Empire had swept across the galaxy, conquering over 2,000 worlds. No species had ever withstood their might. The humans, despite their recent expansion into space, would be no different. "Begin the assault," Vorac commanded. "Today, we claim Earth for the Empire." The first wave of Vorac ships descended into Earth's atmosphere like a storm of metal and death. Plasma cannons charged, missile bays opened, and shield generators hummed to life. Earth's orbital defenses, a pitiful collection of satellites and space stations, crumbled within minutes. But then something unexpected happened. As the Vorac ships entered the lower atmosphere, strange readings began appearing on their sensors. Energy signatures, unlike anything in their vast databases. The humans weren't running to their shelters or broadcasting surrender messages. Instead, they were singing. "Admiral," the communications officer's voice carried a note of confusion. "We're detecting coordinated transmissions across the entire planet. Some kind of harmonic frequency." Vorac dismissed it with a wave of his upper arms. "Primitive death songs. Continue the bombardment." The first Vorac destroyer, the Bloodclaw, targeted what appeared to be a major population center. As its main cannon powered up, something extraordinary occurred. The humans below, millions of them, began to glow with a soft golden light. Captain Vex of the Bloodclaw barely had time to report the anomaly before his ship simply stopped. Not destroyed, not damaged, just frozen in mid-air, as if time itself had seized it. The plasma bolt it had been charging dissipated harmlessly. "What is this?" Vorac roared, watching his tactical display in disbelief as ship after ship went dark, suspended motionless above the planet's surface. Dr. Elena Vasquez stood in the center of New Geneva's main plaza, her voice joining with millions of others in the ancient song her grandmother had taught her. Around the world, in every city, every village, every remote outpost, humanity sang as one. The melody was older than recorded history, passed down through generations, waiting for this moment. The song was a key, and Earth was the lock. Above them, Vorac ships hung like deadly ornaments, their crews trapped inside vessels that had become their prisons. The more ships that entered Earth's atmosphere, the stronger the effect became. What the Vorac had mistaken for a primitive world was actually a carefully prepared trap, one that had been set long before humanity had even learned to make fire. "Sir," the Vorac tactical officer's voice was barely a whisper. "We've lost contact with 9,847 ships. They're all just floating there." Admiral Vorac felt something he'd never experienced in his 3 centuries of conquest: fear. Full retreat. All remaining ships, emergency jump to hyperspace. But only 17 ships remained outside Earth's influence. The rest of his mighty fleet, the largest armada ever assembled in galactic history, hung motionless above a world that had seemed so helpless just hours before. Elena felt the song reach its crescendo, and with it came the memories. Not her memories, but those of the Guardians, the ancient race that had seeded countless worlds across the galaxy, leaving behind sleeping defenses and chosen species to activate them when the time came. Humanity wasn't just another primitive civilization. They were the final failsafe, the ultimate guardians of the galaxy. The trapped Vorac ships began to change. Their dark hulls grew bright with the same golden light, that surrounded the humans below. Inside, the crew found themselves not imprisoned, but transformed. The overwhelming urge for conquest that had driven their species for millennia simply vanished. In its place came something they'd never known: peace. Captain Vex blinked his crimson eyes, looking around his bridge with new understanding. "What have we done?" he whispered, seeing clearly for the first time the horror of his empire's conquests. Around him, his crew were experiencing the same awakening. The 17 ships that escaped carried the tale back to the Vorac Empire of Earth, the world that had broken their greatest fleet without firing a single shot. But more than that, they carried something else: the seeds of the song itself. Within a year, the melody had spread to every Vorac world. The Empire's expansion stopped, not through defeat, but through enlightenment. Species that had lived in terror of Vorac conquest found their oppressors laying down their weapons and asking for forgiveness. Elena stood in her plaza, now quiet, except for the gentle hum of 9,847 converted starships floating peacefully overhead, no longer weapons of war, but symbols of transformation. The Guardians' ultimate plan had succeeded. Humanity had not defeated the Vorac Empire. They had redeemed it. And somewhere in the depths of space, ancient beings who had waited eons for this moment finally allowed themselves to rest, knowing the galaxy was safe in the hands of its newest guardians.